All right, guys, welcome back to the Your Invisible Advantage podcast. It's me, T. I'm your host, and this podcast is where we talk all things people building influence, money, authority, living a life on their own terms. And we're wanting to really do it without losing ourselves, like numbing ourselves, without performing, without doing shit we just don't want to do. And we want to live a life that we can actually sustain and that we actually enjoy. So today we're talking all things content, we're talking all things building your personal brand, and we're going to take it in a little bit of a different direction. But if you know me, this will not come as a surprise to you because I do everything from the human lens first. And if you've ever been in any one of my programs or done anything with me, you know that I always take it here before I go into strategy. We're always going to be looking at the human. So what we're talking about today is what no one really recognizes is holding them back from having more visibility, exposure, power. They want more influence, they want more money, they want more people coming into their world. And in this episode, I'm really going to be breaking down for you why visibility, exposure, and all of these different things, responsibility, power, etc., will feel so unsafe for so many high achieving, high functioning women or men, people who are creators, business owners, because even when we say we want influence, even if we say we want more money, even if we say we want more clients, there is always something that is actually cock blocking people that they don't actually realize. And it's not a content or a messaging or a confidence problem, right? It's actually so much deeper and so much juicier and so much more fun to look at, which is the identity of the human. And I know like a lot of people spit out, oh, it's your identity and this, that, the other. But today I'm actually going to show you what an identity fracture looks like and why so many people are operating from this place. So the operator informing the content, the strategy, the confidence, the messaging, that is the thing we're going to look at. The operator, the human, which is you. You are the root of everything that is coming out onto your socials to make you money in your business. So something that I have really noticed again and again and again is no matter what level someone is at, whether they are just starting, whether they're multi six figures, whether they're multi seven figures, it literally does not matter. It is people say they want to be seen. People say they want to grow their social media. People say they want to grow and scale their business. They say they want influence. They say they want to be powerful online. And I do not doubt that. I do not doubt that those are the desires they want. Absolutely. We all want that. And if anything, I think people need to own that a little bit more, that they actually want those things. But the moment that they actually start to get that responsibility, they start to get that attention, they start to get all of the eyes on them, they start to get the money, they start to get the people flooding in, their system starts to panic. And it's not because they're not capable, they're not intelligent, they're not good at getting results. It's nothing like that. It's because they're operating from that fractured place internally, which is the identity of the conditioning that we all have. Every single person has conditioning, even me. Even to this day, even though I've done all this work, every single one of us is always going to rub up against the identity that we believe we are, the prisons that we are stuck in, which is the subconscious prisons, which if you know me, you know my work, that is how I lead everything. And it's part of you wants to lead, the other part of you wants to be liked, right? There's a fracture. It's like a fork in the road. Your conditioning is telling you this, your soul is telling you this, all right? Part of you wants to control things and take up space and be in charge and be the powerful one, but then another part of you wants to disappear and wants to be like, I don't want any of this fucking responsibility. Fuck no, right? There is a part of you that wants to fucking own your space and be like, I am so powerful. I want all the fucking like eyes on me. I want the attention. I want the people in my world. I want the community. And then there's this other part of you, right? That is like, I don't ever want to be questioned. I don't ever want anyone to kind of like come at me for my beliefs and my thoughts. Like, I don't want that. I don't really know if I want that visibility. And that internal split right there, those forks in the road moments, right? They are what make visibility feel unsafe. And that is the fracture. That is as simple as I could explain it to you. You have a conditioned self that tells you be the good girl, be the people pleaser, say what's safe, say what everyone else wants you to do what everyone else wants you to do, just follow the path, follow what everyone else is doing. And then every single one of us has this rebellious streak. And it's not like a rebellion of like, fuck you, authority. It's like, no, I know deep down in my soul, that is not what my soul is telling me to do. That is not where I'm meant to be. I don't want to do it that way. Right. And it's like when a child is told to do something they don't want to do, but they have to do it. And you're like, no, that's why children chuck tantrums, is because it's going against their inner sovereignty of what they actually want to do. Right. And we're just grown up adults having that same reaction, except for us, it's like that's our truth and actually our purpose and mission in life. Right. But so many people don't actually realize this. So they stay the safe conditioned self. And that's why their personal brands never take off. They're boring as batshit. They're bland, not because they're bland, but because they are being run by this fractured self. It's that internal fragmentation. And a part of my background is doing parts work. So if you have ever done parts work, you know exactly what that is. But that's exactly it. Is like there's fragments inside of us. It's like we have a little devil and a little angel. And that's why I created my 7 deadly sins framework, is because it's not like there's nothing out there that is stopping us from having everything we want. It is all only ever internal. Power, whether it's internal or external, it doesn't come from more confidence. It comes from internal integration. It comes from internal ownership. If you're fragmented inside, visibility is only going to amplify that fracture. If you are already questioning yourself, more responsibility, more clients are going to amplify that. Right? Your exposure to the things that you say you want, the influence, the money, the power, the clients, the content popping off, the virality, whatever, it is only going to reveal what is already happening inside. So this is how I make sure I run absolutely everything that I'm doing with my people before I ever run any strategy. It's like, let's look at the operator behind the strategy, because that's going to be the most important thing. So an example of this could be you post something, a really good piece of content, like it's from your soul. You're like, fuck yeah, this was like the best piece of content. It's truthful, it's honest, it's about your experience, feels really close to your heart. And maybe that really lands for people, but then all of a sudden it starts to get a lot more traction and it starts to get more views and more comments. And oh shit, what comes with that? More opinions. And suddenly you're going back and rereading your caption like, oh shit, what did I say in my caption? Oh, fuck, should I word that differently? And you're editing your caption for another 20 minutes because you're like, oh, fuck, this piece of content is fucking going viral. Like, I better make sure I haven't said anything that could piss someone off, right? You're monitoring the comments like a fucking crazy person because you're like, I need to delete any negative comment that comes through, right? You don't even want to open your phone because you're like, oh my God, every time I see all these flood of comments, like I'm freaking the fuck out. And you don't want to read the comments in case there's like a negative one in there, because that will hurt and that will infiltrate your identity of who you believe yourself to be. And it might hit on something that you believe to be true. You start to wonder if you should archive it, right? You might start getting backlash from something you've said. You will hide certain people from your stories of like, oh my God, I don't want this person to see it. Let me just go block them, right? None of these things are a content issue. They're an identity issue at the core. I wish there was another word for identity. I truly, really do, because I just think it's so overused, but it's like there's nothing else I can really call it because that's what it is. So we're just going to have to go with that. But it's like you're trying to be powerful. And so many people, I believe they want to be powerful and I believe they want to step into exactly who they were put here to be. But I think that a lot of people are still really negotiating with their core conditioning. And that is things like you're still negotiating with trying to stand out, trying to be different, trying to be powerful, trying to be influential, while still internally fighting the part of you that wants belonging, that wants approval, that wants everyone to like them. The part of you that thinks who they have to be in order to get hired by a high level client, or to get hired, or for people to like you, or to post your content, whatever, to suit the algorithm, right? And it's like, you actually can't have both. Power and influence and approval, they don't go together. And at some point of your journey, you're going to have to choose. Okay. And most people really don't want to admit it because they're not necessarily afraid of getting hate. It's more so they just don't want to be without validation. They don't want to be without reassurance. They don't want to be without being the one that people need. They don't want to be seen walking alone. They don't want to be like, they don't want to be out of their comfort zone of feeling safe. Because as long as you post safe content and you don't really fucking stand for anything and you're bland as batshit, you get to sit there and complain, oh, it's not working for me. But like, really, you just get to stay safe. And you're like, you get to say that, oh, well, it's just not maybe meant to be for me. So you get to confirm your conditioning that, like, maybe this isn't right for you, right? And you get to play into your limitations. And it's like, that's not being powerful. You get to never be criticized. You get to never be misunderstood. You get to never have your identity threatened because you get to stay exactly who you believe yourself at your core to be, not what your mind is telling you. I know your mind wants you to be powerful. Your mind wants you to have influence. Your mind wants you to do all these big things and you have these big dreams and you want to make millions of dollars and impact millions of people and be on stages and TED Talks. I know your mind is saying, I want that, I want that, I want that. But internally, it's the deeper root. It's the psyche, right? It's not what your mind is saying to you. It's inner, it's a deeper inner part, the soul, right? So when visibility threatens that supply of like validation, reassurance, fitting in, belonging, looking like everyone else, like that's what we want. We want, I know everyone says they want to rebel. Again, it's the mind says I want to rebel, but the ego internally is protecting the part of you that doesn't feel safe to walk alone. It's the part of you that wants to be a sheep because it is safer to be a sheep. You think about back in school, it was safer to belong and fit in with everyone because if you think about the people that you think of where you're like, oh, they were just so weird, they were always by themselves, right? They were just a freak, like what, right? That's what we were conditioned growing up is like the people who are weird, the people who stand out. Like you don't want to be that person. We literally learn that it's like do or die because it's like you'll be kicked out of the pack, right? So people are so scared to walk alone. People are so scared to rebel against their conditioning, against what they believe they have to do to be safe. So when visibility, more influence, more money, more power, more people, more whatever, when that threatens the part of us that is getting supply, it's like an oxygen. The ego needs you to keep getting validation, reassurance, etc., insert thing to be the good girl, to be the people pleaser, to be the perfectionist. The ego needs that supply to stay alive, right? So they need it. So you'll start softening what you want to say. You'll dilute your actual opinion. You won't show up and be the full freakish self that you actually are. Like, I want your freak flag to fly. And I say that to people and they just still show up so vanilla. And it's like, I don't see that as like a problem. I see that as something to be understood and something to hold compassion for because their ego is so fucking scared and threatened by what will happen if they no longer have that supply. It's like they think they're going to die, but they don't actually realize the oxygen mask is actually the death. But then if they take it off, there's actually fresh air around, but they don't know that because they've never lived without the mask, right? And it's not because any of you guys are not powerful. It's not because you lack skill. It's not because your clients aren't getting results or anything like that that you're not growing more. Most of the time, it's because you haven't integrated these parts of yourself. There is a shadow that gets pushed to the side, the parts of yourself you believe you cannot be or you will not be loved. Period. You either learned things you had to do to be a good girl or you had to not be a bad girl. That is it. You were trying to be right or not be wrong your whole life, and those things are pushed into the shadow, which brings up the ego, and the ego is now how you operate. It is your protector, it is your manager, and that is what keeps you safe in the world / be a sheep. And that is why your brand is not magnetic. It's not because you're doing anything wrong, it's because you have very intelligent systems in your body, very intelligent systems in your psyche, keeping you safe. Your ego is in charge at this point, right? And it's managing everything. It's a protector. And the thing that you need to realize is we can't actually truly be in line. And I still have to work on this. I really want to preface, like, I'm not a fucking guru. I am still working on this because I don't think we ever get to a point where we're void of all conditioning, where nothing is ever wrong with us, where we have no limitations. Like I don't wrong. I didn't mean like wrong. You hopefully you know what I mean. But it's like I don't think we ever get to a point where we're fully integrated. I think that there's always parts of ourselves that there is some sense of like we can never just be like fuck you to everything and walk alone. Like we do need to keep people in our life at some point. And it's like about figuring out, cool, how can I be here for my true purpose? How can I see the things that are limiting me? Guys, all this is limitations that are placed on you from your own upbringing, from your conditioning, from everything around you that is validating your safety. And it's like, how can I actually let my protector know that I'm going to be okay without it? How can I teach myself that I'm going to be okay without the mask on? Right? And it's like that is the really scary part about building a brand. That is the really scary part about building a business. And that is the scary part that most people will never fucking want to look at. And then they keep going to the next coach, the next strategy, the next shiny fix, the next this, that, the fucking other. Oh, it's my funnel. It's this, that, the other. I'm like, it's not your fucking funnel. Like your funnel is actually fucking perfect. It's not your fucking like messaging, although in a sense it is because it's like what you're putting into the messaging, right? It's the oomph behind it. That's why everyone has ChatGPT. With ChatGPT, right? If it's trained with sales psychology, should we not all be fucking popping off with our fucking sales and personal brands? But we're not. Do you know why? Because it can never outrule your consciousness. Never. There is no fucking soul in it. There is no fucking aliveness in it because this is where power actually comes from is the actual integration of these parts, right? The part of you that actually wants to be seen but is fucking terrified. The part of you that wants influence but isn't sure she's actually worthy of it or if anyone's even going to fucking listen or if she's going to get cancelled or this, that, the other. Or if someone's going to find out something she did and oh, she'll be exposed, right? It's the part of you that enjoys being right, that actually wants significance, that literally craves people to want her. It's the part of you that feels so fucking alive when you're doing shit that you're just playing to play and then you actually end up getting paid for it. It's the part of you that's a bit messy, that's a bit chaotic, and you're like, is that high level enough to show up? Right? It's the part of you that still is figuring it the fuck out. You are fucking around and finding out. You are not a guru. Stop trying to be a fucking guru. Right? It's the part of you, I talk about this all the time. Confidence, conviction, they are simply how comfortable you are with exactly who you are as you are. Because the inner authority that I'm talking about here bleeds out into your external conviction and environment. And most people exile that part and then they literally don't realize they're suppressing their magnetism. They're trying to bargain with, oh, what do I need to say today? It's like, no, no, no. Who the fuck do I need to show up as today? Right? And they don't realize this is why their brand doesn't feel what people want is magnetic, because the people who are magnetic are simply the most comfortable with themselves. That's it. That's the only code they've cracked, is they have learned that integrating these parts of themselves. Power will always feel unsafe if you are so scared of being exposed for something. What you cannot own will own you, and you will forever be caged in your own limitations. And I say this to you guys as someone who has been on this journey for years and years and years and years, and I keep meeting this at new levels, new devils all the fucking time. Right? All the time. I am no different to you. You are no different to me. No one else. The person making fucking $1 million months is no different to you. The internal limitations of humans, the cages, the prisons that we put ourselves in, right? This is my 7 deadly sins framework, which I created, which if you want that for free, just let me know, send me a DM somewhere and I'll send it to you. But it's like business, content, sales is all consciousness. It's not just more strategy. Everyone has a strategy. Everyone has ChatGPT. So why are not more people winning? Right? You become the content strategy and sales system when you understand that these are all interconnected. The conversation that you can have strategy without the human part is just stupid. The conversation that you have the human part without the strategy is just stupid. It's like, why are we even questioning that any of this is separate? All of it is interconnected. So we want to have a look at your power is your ability to lead yourself. And the word that comes up with that is self-governance. It's when you stop trying to be understood, rescue other people, be rescued by other people. Stop trying to get it right. Stop trying to perfect it. Stop trying to soften shit so it lands better. Stop second guessing everything you're saying. Stop looking at other people and being like, have they said that? Like, am I allowed to say that? Am I going to get fucking cancelled? No, it's the part of you that doesn't need to defend anything. It's the part of you that literally is not asking permission to be who she is. And everyone talks about becoming the one, right? And it's like, you don't become the one by trying to be different. And I teach this inside Brand DNA and Paid to Be Her, is like, you naturally already have invisible advantages. You just have not revealed them yet. And I want you to see yourself like the statue of David. So the work that I love to do is like, you are the fucking statue of David. You are glorious, beautiful, elegant, ready to be fucking seen. But right now you're a rock. And I'm gonna need you to chisel away at that bitch. And I'm gonna need you to reveal those chiseled abs under there because they're under there. But you have to actually own that it's already there. It's not something that can be injected in or artificially implanted. Your unique differentiator, your magnetism, the reason people will hire you is already within you. It needs to be owned. When you stop abandoning yourself, when you stop negotiating your own perspectives and thinking that it can't be right because it didn't happen the way someone else did it and this, that, the other, that you're going to get cancelled, that you need consensus, you need the collective to be saying the same thing as you need your peers to agree. You are literally uncopyable when you can integrate this shit, right? You are literally uncancelable when you are not fucking trying to ask for permission. I love there's a quote by I forget who he is, a comedian, and he goes, "You can't cancel me, I'm not your gym membership." And like that just like sticks in my head. I love that so much. I'm like, people who think they can be cancelled, it's like because the only reason you think you can be cancelled is because you don't have self-governance. You don't have an internal power because you let other people dictate who you are and how you should act and how you should show up. Right? This is how we become unignorable because we're saying different things to everyone else because we are owning exactly our perspective, our wisdom. It's not some strategy we're teaching. It's from our truth, our depth, our soul. You're not trying to tell everyone you're this guru. You're not trying to be perceived a certain way. You're not trying to sell to high-level clients by making sure you do your makeup, right? It's like you actually raise the standard for how you act yourself, and therefore other people raise around you. Okay. And it's like there's this whole conversation around, speak to desire points for high level clients, dress a certain way, don't say this, do say this, blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you, the quote high level clients that you want or the people coming to your brand that you want, those people don't want you to be perfect. They don't want to be handheld. They don't want you to be bland, be vanilla, soften your truth. They actually want you to be exactly who you fucking are, the messy middle and all. Right? They actually want that because that shows them leadership. People don't want you to be polished. They want you to feel emotionally, energetically, and physically clean, right? Or physically means like how you're actually showing up. And the other two are what drive it. They're emotional and energetic, right? They drive how you physically show up. So we really want to look at your audience will not be obsessed with you because you're perfect. They will be obsessed with you because you are the most alive version of you that you can be. Right? You're not trying to be like overly unhinged and chaotic and like fucking piss people off for just pissing people off. No, you're actually just saying what you truly want to say. You're not trying to curate it. You're not trying to make it a bit palatable so that it doesn't piss the right people off. You are just truthful in what's coming out for you. You have standards for yourself. You refuse to abandon yourself. You are convicted in what you're saying. You're comfortable in yourself. You contradict yourself because that's what a normal fucking human does. And that is what embodiment is. Embodiment equals aliveness. When you get that and then implement the strategy, you have a winning combo. So if visibility feels a bit heavy for you now, I don't want you to run to fix your content. I want you to first look at, and this is the first thing we do inside Brand DNA before we even dive into anything else, is I want you to first look at the identity that you are currently operating from. The part of you that wants power is not bad. The part of you that wants influence is not bad. The part of you that wants to be seen is not bad. The part of you that's a little bit messy, chaotic, all the fucking in between is not bad. The part of you that wants to be a bit savage is not bad. The part of you that is a bit angry and aggressive at things is not bad. That's just passion, right? The part of you that is still figuring shit out, that's not bad. The part of you that is a little bit scared, that's not bad. The part of you that has fear, that's not bad, right? Like all these parts are not bad. We just haven't learned how to alchemize them and transmute them into power. Because until you can leverage them, you will keep leaking energy, proving, coddling your people, attracting disempowered people. Because, of course, your people are disempowered if you're disempowered, right? Of course they are. Because they're acting from conditioning, as are you, right? When you can actually realize this, you will actually start attracting better people in your community as well. You will actually be magnetic instead of, there's like a tugboat. So there's this analogy, and I love it. It's about a lighthouse and a tugboat. And imagine like a bay. I don't know, is that what it's called? A bay. And there is a lighthouse, and it is standing here on the shore. Obviously, a lighthouse can't move. The lighthouse has a beacon, and it's just like going around and around, and the ships know to come into the port, wherever it is. There is then a tugboat, and the tugboat is trying to pull this massive ship in, right? The tugboat is working so fucking hard because it's not magnetic. The lighthouse, however, the lighthouse doesn't have to go out there and try to like tug people along and try to convince people, and doesn't have to work overtime. It's not wasting all this fuel. It's like it's built this beautiful just beacon of light. That's magnetism. And the boats are going to be like, over there, that's where we want to go, over there. And the boats are going to fucking take themselves there. That is your audience, community, and people who are going to hire you, stand for you, want to be in your community. That is them once you become the lighthouse. But right now, everyone is the tugboat, and they wonder why it feels so heavy. Okay, we want to choose aliveness, choose ourself, sovereignty, authenticity over approval. And I say to people, the authentic self that you think you are right now is not your authentic self. I want you to take on an alter ego, and from the place of like where you're currently operating is your ego. You're never going to get rid of the ego. It's not about killing the ego. It's about just like let's bury the one you've already got. Let's just let her sit to the side. Let's create a new version, a powerful version. Because that one's a protective version, a managing version. But what if you didn't have to protect or manage anything? What if we could build a different one, an alter ego? And this is the powerful one. This is the one that's going to make you more sales. This is the one that's going to have you fucking magnetic as fuck. This is the one that's going to have you owning all the shit about yourself that you are worried about. Right? And that is where your true genius lies. You're not doing things for other people's approval. You're not posting content to get a sale. You're not this, that, the other, pulling people along, convincing people, trying to compete with other people. You actually never have to compete. This is how you become one of one. Is like own all your messy shit, because no one else is going to have all of the little pieces that you have. That's your invisible advantage. And I teach you exactly how to do this inside Brand DNA and inside my private containers. Okay, when you build from truth and soul, not ego and fracture, watch how everything changes. You're no longer that little tugboat, the poor little tugboat. I feel so bad for it. I'm like, come on. You have the ability to be a lighthouse, So, okay, I hope this episode hit for you guys. I have absolutely loved this episode. You know me, I love talking about psychology, going deep, talking about the human, because I really do think the operator behind the business is the most important part to all of this. Like, we all know the strategy, we can all chat GPT it, we've bought all the courses, we've hired all the mentors. It really does come down to this. And if we want to get ready to hold more of yourself. That's what you need to do. You don't need to hold more followers or more people or this, that, the other. It's holding more of yourself and learning to hold that without like abandoning, right? That's where your real power starts. That's the integrated power. And then we move and operate and put the strategy in from that place. So if you have loved this, I would encourage you, if you want to build a brand, a magnetic brand community from that true place of soul and truth, and not trying to convince, and actually being all that you are and more of what you actually are and who you want to be. Brand DNA is for you. This is my program where I teach you how to not just create content. It's not just about that content and messaging and positioning. It's about becoming the human behind the context in the content that is magnetic, powerful, influential, and actually capable of fucking building something truly meaningful, making lots of money and lots of freaking impact with the content that we're here to build. So if that is you, get yourself in Brand DNA. I'll pop it in the show notes. If you want to work with me privately, I currently have intensives open, which are shorter term, or I take on one private client a month. So you can also inquire about that. I have different packages, but if not, I will see you somewhere else in my world. Share this on your story if you loved it. Tag me, give me a review, leave a comment. It all means so much to me, and I will see you guys in the next one.